287,000 jobs added in the month of June. Jack Otter, much higher than expected. Look at these markets take off, doubling the performance before this number.
Yeah, I can't say that I was excited. A month ago, I sat here and I said 38,000 doesn't sound right. I would expect a snapback. I really think, month to month, you can't look at a single number. You've got to look at the averages. You kind of split the difference between 28,000 and 287,000, and you have decent, not fantastic job growth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing.
Something happened in the month of May, Charles Payne. 11,000 jobs created in the month of May. A readjustment there.
A readjustment there. I'm not sure what exactly went wrong there, but anecdotally for the last 2 weeks, we've seen that this number could come in better than 200,000, which is why I agree with Jack from the ISM reports last week to some of the other data out this week, including ADP's report yesterday. I was happy to see manufacturing up. I'd like to see what construction is doing because I do believe the housing sector is one of the bright spots in this economy. Overall, good news is good news. So far, the market's reacting positively. I think that's good, too. I don't want to hear any more talk about central banks and printing money.
Yeah. Joni.
The other thing that I think in this report is really important is that we did see 400,000 people enter back into the workforce, which is a very good sign.
It is.
The indicators have been there that the amount of job openings has been increasing. We're up to 5.8 million job openings. There still is a challenge with the skills gap. We have, about 500,000 jobs going unfilled. And so that could speak to a little bit of why maybe some of the job growth wasn't there in May. It also speaks, though, to just some uncertainty, maybe with the different economic conditions that are happening, the political, ramifications, still what's, unfolding. So I think this is a much better month, certainly, to see the June numbers. This is the last job report before the Republican and Democratic convention, so it's definitely going to set the tone for some job growth. But the job growth is not as strong as 2014 or 2015. So we still have some work to do. And wages, again, not much movement in the wage area as well.
Up 1/10.
But still decent wage growth year over year, 2.6%, which is okay. What's weird is because the May number was expected to have been hit by the Verizon strike, which reduced it by 35,000 jobs, but we get May cut even lower, only net 11,000 jobs created in May. So some of the bounce back, though, that we saw in June are those Verizon workers going back on the job.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, 35,000.
Right,
yeah.
It was about 35,000. Yeah. So there's some of that when you get that wild upside way over. I'm close to 300,000 jobs. That's some of it.
And we should say that the unemployment rate's still up to 4.9%. Steve Moore, your takeaway on these numbers?
Yeah, so it's a very positive report. The information, I haven't seen the whole report yet, Maria. Very positive. I would say this, though, if you look at the kind of average over the last 4 or 5 months, we're at about 150,000. I mean, just the last 2 months, we had almost no job growth in May, and then in June, we get close to 300,000. So we're at about 150,000. I would say this about the economy right now, and I haven't seen it. Could somebody look up what the numbers were for retail? Because it looks to me like what's happening. Okay, so it was a pretty good number. So I think what's happening right now, Maria, is the economy is not in recession. Obviously, with this report, we don't have to worry too much about that. We were worried about it a month ago. But I will say this, consumers are carrying this economy right now, no question. The businesses are still in a kind of soft recession, in my opinion. We see that with corporate earnings not being that good. Corporate spending on investment is not very good. And business, if you look at these indicators of business confidence, they've been kind of weak as well.
All right, we've got manufacturing up 14,000 last month, retail up 29,900, and leisure and hospitality sectors gained 59,000. Gary Smith, your takeaway.
There's the consumption.
Yeah,
that's consumption.
Well, a few takeaways. One, you have to really question the Bureau of Labor Statistics that put that together. They were off by, what, 66% in their revision? So when someone says, oh, I'm basing my forecast on these numbers, who knows what the revision's going to be in August? They could be off by another 50%. That's number one. Number two, the only number I really look at in these, other than wages, which is kind of flat, is the labor force participation rate. And that's remained the same at 62.7%. So for all those who are saying we're still kind of in the recession camp, I think Steve was alluding to that, I'm firmly there because I just don't see the movement. And based on these numbers going all over the place from 38,000 back to 11,000 up to 200 and whatever it was, 87,000, I place no trust at all in what these numbers are. My feel is that this economy is really struggling.
No, the economy is really struggling.